Hi, and welcome back to part 3. Here we're continuing the split-second tuning dial scale. So again, you want to wet down your area that you're going to apply your decal to, just with a brush and some warm water. And then you'll get your dial sheet that you cut out previously and place it down in the warm water. Careful not to let it curl up like that, because it may fold in on itself. Then wait for it to separate and then lift it up out of the water. You can see it separating on that one corner right there. You want the whole thing to kind of do that. There we go. So again, you just want to slide the numbering off the piece of paper. You can slide one corner off of it and one corner of the film off, and then you can grab the piece of paper underneath the tip of your fingernail and slide it off. Or you can push it up like that, just any way you can get the two pieces separated. So it's about to come off, so you can see that they're not exactly matched up yet. We'll adjust that later. If you place the water on the surface beforehand, you should be able to slide around easily anywhere you want it to go. Okay, there's the bottom piece. Then just using your fingers, you can slide it up to make sure it meets the top half. Almost there. So you can see we had a little fold in that corner, so we can place the brush up underneath the film and slide it up. A nice fine brush, one that's not real bristly or frayed. A nice new kind of pointed brush is what you're going to want to use for something like that. So you just inch your way closer to the other dial scale until you make a perfect circle. And if the decal starts to stick, you can wet your brush again and kind of slide your brush underneath the decal and fill it up with water underneath, and you can slide it easier once you do that. You just want to get those two little corners to line up just where they were cut before. Just like that. Again, you're just going to want to get as many of the wrinkles out as you can, and then if you want to, you can go back with the microsaw, which I showed you how to do that before. It may not be necessary on the bottom piece as the curvature doesn't change like it does where the that small little frame comes down on the top, but you can if you want. So every time you adjust it, the whole thing will slide a little bit. You just want to keep making sure those two corners match up and the curvature of the circle is consistent throughout. If you did the upper section of the dial a little bit beforehand, it might still be wet, so you might still be able to move the upper section if it's not just right. But even if it isn't perfect, it's probably better than the way it was before, with the rust and everything. So just more adjusting, that's really what you just got to keep doing. Now that the whole thing's wet, you can just keep adjusting it and adjusting until you're pleased with the way it looks. This one's a lot easier to do just because it's not so thin. It's just more or less a larger oval shape or circle. There we go, sliding off right there. So this one's easy to do. You just gotta line up the that sort of crosshair looking thing just right in the center of the hole where the dials come out. Here you can see we had a small fold in the bottom. We're gonna try to get that out with the brush. And then line up the center right there. Put those crosshairs right in that hole right there. And if you look with those crosshairs, you're gonna want the up and down crosshair to point at the 60 and the 30 at the bottom, and you're gonna want the left and right arms in the crosshair to point at the 45 and 15. So that's sort of an easy way to align them. It shouldn't be too much harder. So here are the little diamonds that go in the three corners. One's for the tone switch, one's for the on-off local and long distance switch, the other one's for the volume control. So they just go in each of the corners. These are real easy to do. They're just real small diamonds. And you want to wet down the surface. Get your diamond, place it in the water. And just gently slide it off the paper. Go and center it up just as best as you think it should be. It's real small, it's real easy to move, so if you don't get it right the first time, that's okay. You can just keep moving it. And then you can do the other two, the two bottom ones. Same procedure basically. So as you can see, that's about the end for as far as redoing the dial decals. That's about where it'll end up when you're done putting your decals on. So in a minute I will show you one more important step you're going to want to do when you're about to put your dial back together. So right here, this is the main frame that holds everything together, and you're going to want to place 2 pieces of foam on those little tabs that stick out, and that's the little bumpers for the shutters when they come up. That's their stoppers basically. So you can use some craft foam and some glue. I'm using super glue right there, and just glue them onto that tab. Just cut out a piece about the same size and glue it on there. And you might want to play around with the thickness of that, because depending on how thick or how thin those are, the spacing will be different. At the bottom middle of the U-shaped cutout for the dial sheets, and you don't want them to hit when you close it, because there's a chance that one can slide in front of the other and possibly scratch off your newly placed decals, but you don't want them placed too far apart that the gap's really noticeable. So you could take a larger piece of foam and scuff it down with a piece of sandpaper until it's just right. It just all depends on what the thickness of the foam is that you're able to get. That thickness right there worked perfectly for me. I didn't have to do any modification to it. It just worked just fine. So here's a picture of the completed project. You can see that each of the diamonds are on each corner. You have your U-shaped cutout with your station indicators and your kilocycles numbers. The 3 other sheets are behind there. You have your 0 to 60 split second tuning for your brass pointer. And one thing I didn't show is the furthest back dial sheet, which I believe is police band. That one's real easy to do. This video just basically showed how to apply the decals. You shouldn't have any problem putting on the police band dial decals. We didn't make a video of that for some reason, but it's basically self-explanatory. But anyway, thank you for watching my videos, and I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, send me a message. Any way I can help out, let me know, because we've done this a couple times already, and it's a bit of a weird process, but it takes some time to get used to. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.